Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to the next video. Last minutes was a video that I recorded 2 days back. This video is talking about deciding what's your passion and having a kill to reach there. If you do not decide where you want to go, you will end up going nowhere. But most importantly, how to go there. So this video is titled as Embrace Your Passions. You need to decide what you want to become in your life. If you have not decided what you want to do finally, you will see you're stuck up. I have included few things in this video. The first part talks about what you must do. In the center, it talks about what you must not do. At the end, it talks about how to enhance it. So do, not do, enhancements. When I look at the first point, focus. Do you really have focus on what you want to achieve? When you get up in the morning, do you have enough hunger that this is what you really want to do? Are you looking at your target? Are you deciding where do you want to hit it? Do you still have confusion? Do you still say, I will take medicine or pediatrics? I will take gynae-obs or surgery? I will take up ortho or radio? If you are into that confusion, you again are stuck up. In the morning, are you stuck up between wearing a black shirt or a blue shirt? Does it really matter? Are you really stuck up on having between a sandwich or a fruit salad? These small things decide your clarity, and if you have no clarity, you are blind. You might see, but you have no vision. Have a clarity. Absolute clarity. Usain Bolt will not go on the track and say, I want to win it. Usain Bolt will go on the track and say, I will break it. And Usain Bolt will keep on breaking it on a milliseconds. For you, me, or anybody in the world, it is just 10 seconds. For Usain Bolt, it is the world. And trust me, deciding now what you want to become is your world for next 50 years. A small decision, what you do today, will be your fortune. Not only your fortune, the fortune of your entire family, and most importantly of your parents who have invested everything onto you. So decide what you want to become. And then decide that how you want to achieve that. I'll give you an example. You will have 10 things to do, but there will be one that is most important. If I ask my mother in the kitchen, name one thing that you need as an ingredient in every vegetable you cook, her answer will be salt. She cannot cook without salt. She might make up things without gas. She might make up things without microwave. She might make up things without even vegetables, without even pulses. She will make combinations, but if there is no salt, things are difficult. Similarly, if you are making a sweet and if there is no sugar, things are difficult. What is the salt and sugar amongst the tasks that you have in your focus, in your path that you need to decide? For me, salt and sugar in medical entrance exams are two subjects. Number one is PSM. Number two is pathology. If you do not know these two subjects, do not care to even see your result. And if you want to look at the garnish which will improve your rank, forensic medicine. Now any student who will qualify in the top notch will be done with these three subjects. Every subject is important. Remember, finally you will live up to your dream or you'll miss it only by one question. But what I'm saying is salt, sugar and the garnish are these three things which you can never miss. If you are missing on it, you are missing big time. Next point. Do not think that you want to get rank 1 in AIMS. Don't think that. It won't work like that. Do not think you want to do 3 revisions. Do not do that. It won't work like that. Do not think that I want to complete 19 subjects by November 1st. It won't work like that. Think, break your targets into multiple pieces. For example, if you have to cook onion, you will chop it, cut it and then put in the utensil. If you do not do that, if you put the entire onion, you won't work. So you need to break it into different targets, prioritize according to your Importance of subjects also according to your strength and your weakness. If you can divide the subjects according to time, they will also help you. But what is more important is divide your subjects into probably two categories. One is that you know, and the second you are not very sure of. And then mix up your schedule so that you know how to go about it. Think about one day. You live each day. In that day, think about 4 parts of the day. In those 4 parts, think about each hour. And in those hours, think about 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Make your targets. Do not overburden your brain. You have to have productivity. And to have productivity, right, you have to divide things into different parts. Remember, MCQ, called as multiple choice question exams, are not about knowledge. If they would have been about knowledge, it would have been write a short note. It would have been fill in the blank. It is a separate art and craft which is acquired by practice to pick up the best correct answer. Not the correct answer, but the best correct answers. And mind you, there can be 2 correct answers in every question. There can be 3 in some if you are looking for aims. So you have to look at the best correct answer. That can only happen if you divide things into targets. Those small targets are made the best. Example. I will give you examples in cooking. If somebody is preparing a dinner for somebody, he will not try to make everything together. The first thing they will try to make is the main vegetables which have to be given. The second thing they have to give is put the cold drinks so that they are in the freezer and they are of the proper temperature. Next thing they want to do is they want to prepare for the sweet dish because they will take a longer time. And at the end they will cut the salad because that has to look fresh. Imagine if somebody is cutting the salad together along with the vegetables, along with the sweets, you will have a person where the salad will look stale, will look old, will not look so fresh to your guest. And then you are stuck up maybe presenting a sweet dish before the main meal. It won't work. So there has to be a proper totality. And think about that totality. There has to be a sequence of things. Then only it would work. Otherwise, you will jumble up things together. Put things into compartments, time them up, and follow them. It is very essential. You should have buffer time. This is what people don't think about. For example, one of the beautiful teachers in the country would come up in the morning and say, I have an 11-hour class and I will finish it up by 11 hours. That's beautiful. And he made a PowerPoint which was for 11 hours. Beautiful. But what about the breaks and the lunch? That break was not there. And what happened was last 2.5 to 3 hours were constricting and people were running for life. What is happening? This is what you need to understand. In every organization, people are slow in first 70% and quick in the last 30% of a day, of a year. And that is why the productivity is not there. Even during the exam, when you are given 40 seconds in each question, initially you give 1.5 minutes and at the end you give less than 10 seconds. And that's why you falter. You need to understand there has to be proper buffer time. There has to be 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes slot, 15 minutes gap, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes slot, 15 minutes gap. Give yourself gap. Give this breathing time. If you do not have this buffer time, it's just like a train wants to stop at a station and the length of the station and the train is equal. And if it does not stop on line, the first compartment people will be getting off the platform directly on the railway track. This is what you need to understand. There is a buffer. The length of the platform is 1.5 times the length of the train, and your calculation of your timetable and your schedule should include the buffer time. If you do not have the buffer time, you will always fall short of your targets, and at the end of the day you won't sleep peacefully, which happens to be the most important part, which I'll talk later. The next point that you should remember, start early. Head start is the best thing you can give. People do not start early. By the time majority of the world is getting up, people who start early, they are already done with their 70% of the works. Normal average time of a person starting his day is 9 a.m. But people who are separate, their day starts at 5:30 to 6. I do not want to take names here, but you can look at anybody's history and their discipline. By 6 to 9, they will be most productive when the world is sleeping. This is what a classical thing is. At the time of sunrise, if you are sleeping, you will never rise. Similarly, at the time of sunset, if you are sleeping, you will go down. These are 2 times you have to be on your toes. Sunrise, you have to be up. You have to welcome the sun. Sun cannot say welcome to you. This is what is being taught to me throughout. Get up in the morning, finish it up. If you do not do that, you will be in a negative thing. One more thing I'll tell you. Whatever stage of your life you will be, 6 to 8 a.m. will always belong to you. Whatever stage, 6 to 8 a.m. you will not be responsible for anything related to your family, personal life, or for education, or for practice, or for clinical work. 6 to 8 a.m. will be to enhance yourself. And during this crucial time, try to give a head start. Second is try to revise early. Try to start your course early. Try to get a head start on completion of the course. So per day, get a head start. Per schedule of revision, get a head start. One more thing which is very crucial for you, which you must remember, sticking on time is important, breaking the targets is important, getting a head start is important, and maintaining that tempo is very important. People start at 6 in the morning and by 9 they have not done anything. That won't work. You have to move ahead. If there's something that is sticking you up, there's something that's catching on to you, something which is holding on to you, not doing is the problem that you don't organize yourself. Look at this image which I'm showing you here. You can see that this big fish is trying to scare the small fishes together. You know what's the big fish for you right now? The target that you want to focus on, you achieve. It's a big thing. It's not easy to get a good rank among 1,15,000 students who will appear for NEET or 30,000 students who will appear for AIMS. It's not easy to get a top-notch rank. It is very difficult. But you know what you need to do? You are going to organize those small fishes and scare the big fish away. And these small fishes is your discipline and small target, which will complete your 19 subjects. That is what you need to do. You need to compartmentalize the things so that they are well organized. A man who's organized is bigger than any organization which is not organized. This is what you need to remember. Why are companies called as organizations? They are called as organizations because there is a role that everybody has to play. Imagine of role reversal. It will be so scary that your carpenter is driving your car and your driver is making out the almirahs. It will be so scary. What will happen? The car will be knocked down and the door will fall. That's why you have to organize things. If your things are not organized, they will be incomplete, they'll be improper, and they'll be disaster. And if you're organized, you can kill any target. Remember this. If you're organized, you can kill any target. The next thing that you should remember, one of the most important things that pull people down, there are elements that will drag you down. Identify those. What are the elements that will drag you down? A heavy meal at the lunch will drag you down, will finish you off. If you are eating too much in the lunch, you will feel sleepy for next crucial 3 to 4 hours, and the most important part of the day is finished off. If you are studying and there are controversial questions, you need to identify an answer and move ahead. The most important thing that I see, sir, I have been stuck up on this question for last 1 day. God bless you. 1 day at this stage is about 1/3 of a subject. Maybe more if this is a short subject. If you are dragging yourself on one question which is less than 1 of a million chance to come back again, your game is over. You are already done with the good rank that you might have got. Whatever is your IQ, whatever is your revision potential, but if you have things which are dragging you down, you will finally go down as compared to people who move ahead. I still remember in my college, there was a boy who used to say, if there is something controversial in PSM, one of my batchmates was very good in PSM, he will go with all the 10 questions to him and say, can you answer these 10 questions in PSM? And that boy who's strong in PSM will tell tuck, 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 tuck. And then tuck, 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 tuck will just finish off those 10 questions, in which, imagine, we all would have wasted an entire half day. So do not drag yourself. Move ahead of controversial question. If you have attended any lecture, follow those answers. If you have not attended a lecture, if you are into some Facebook group, follow that answer. If you are not believing with anybody, follow your answer, but move ahead. This is very important. Move ahead. Do not drag things, otherwise you're gone. Next point that you must remember, habits are stairs. Develop a habit that you want to do. If you want to be successful each day, do one thing that you don't want to do. If you want to do something which people have not achieved, do what you don't want to do. For example, I never liked to shout in front of the wall a table which I have memorized. But my grandmother said, stand and speak. I hated this part, but when I was writing my exams, I realized those were the tables I could recollect. So do a thing what you don't want to do is progress. This is going to take you a step higher. It will elevate your level. What you don't like to do, do it. I'll tell you what, I visited one of the leading clinicians in Apollo Hospital in Delhi. I still remember to date, to consult one of my family member. And you know what he did? He got up from his chair. He opened the door for us, say welcome. And when we were walking out, he again got up and he said all the best. I still remember it. I, over my 10 years, must have sent thousands of patients to that clinician because of one habit he had. And those thousands of patients, he must have operated at least 50 out of them, because I am a doctor sending a patient to a doctor. It makes a big difference. Develop a habit which people don't have. One habit which people don't have, I can give you an advice, is self-discipline. They can't accept they are wrong. They do not have capacity to criticize themselves. They cannot look in the eyes and say, मैंने गलत किया, मेरे से गलती हुई. I was looking at things which were not supposed to be, and this is what I want you to tell. Your time will slip out of hands. And then you will do and cry holding your head forever. Time will just fly away. Remember, people who achieve and people who don't achieve both have 24 hours at their hand. Both have 24 hours. Rank 1, rank 80,000, both had 24 hours. What they did to those 24 hours is dependent on where they end up. You need to decide what you want to do. At any organization, even at my office, I have people working from 9 in the morning till late in the evening, but everybody has a different setup of efficiency. It's not about spending time. For me, what matters most is what you do out of that time. We are not saying present, madam. We are saying attentive, madam. We are saying I am there, madam. And we are saying I am focusing, madam. And this is what matters. We are no more the kids of school who are just sitting in a class not knowing what to do. We are the youths. And we are the people who have to build our careers, which is only built once and never built with ease. Time has to be valued. जो इंसान समय की कीमत नहीं करता, समय उसकी कीमत नहीं करता. This is the rule of life. If you do not value time, time will not value, and you can cry, but who will listen to you? Because again, nobody has time. Going to next. What you should always understand, learn to say no. If you look at what Amitabh Bachchan said in Pink, ना सिर्फ एक शब्द नहीं है. It is a complete statement. I still remember one of my cousins was to get married when I was writing my PG entrance exam, and he was my favorite cousin. We were so gelled up together. And I told him, Bhaiya, I am not coming to your wedding. Imagine. Bhaiya, I am not coming to your wedding. And there was a huge hue and cry in the house. But what I said, I am not coming to the wedding. I have my career at stake. I have to study. And you know what? Finally, when I got a rank, that Bhaiya, always remember that you did the right thing. Those who believe in you will understand you. Those who don't understand you, you don't need them. This is what you need to understand. This is a very, very important phase of your life. This phase will not come back again. Everything will happen again, but what will not come back again is this phase of your life. This is a creative phase of your life. Value it. Learn to say no to people. Learn to say no to movies. Learn to say no to outings. Learn to say no to parties. You can avoid that for some period of time. Because I'll explain. These 2 to 3 months, which are so valuable, if not valued, will cost you about 1 year more. And maybe more. And then next year, the next edition of the books will come. And then you are jumbled up. So learn to say no to people, because your priority is what we started with, your focus. Learn to say no. And then going to next thing. The biggest enemy of today's world is not a foreign nation, is your mobile phone. Trust me, the biggest enemy today is internet, televisions, browsings. We don't know how much time we can spend. You would not even realize. I spoke to a person in my clinic with a neck pain that please stay away from your mobile phones, restricted to 40 minutes a day. And you know what the husband said? Sir, 40 minutes an hour. That is what we use. I can promise that there is a usage of mobile amongst the medical students who are studying for entrance exam, whose career is at stake for 4 to 5 hours a day. You can utilize it for references, for important videos that you want to watch, which are academic, but you cannot browse on internet. Avoid it. Say no to yourself, I'll not do that. Just quantify the time that you have. How do you quantify the time? The only way you do that is learn with a stopwatch. The moment you deviate, you stop the watch and you will know at the end of the day actually what you're doing towards your goal, towards the thing that you had to focus. The next thing is do less. This is a beautiful book called as Drop the Ball. This is the ball which has got drawn. I used to study inside the chamber in my room at my house. If anybody would come and there would be a bell at the house, I would never walk out to open it. Even if the bell would ring 2 times, I will not walk out to open it. My mother, my dad, or anybody at the house who's taking care of the house will walk out and open it. I decided I'll not do it. Very simple reason. If I go out, I open the door, I will have to greet the person, I'll have to meet the person. Definitely, they know me, I am a social human being, I'll have to talk to the person. And that will cost me, and if I do it for 10 times in a day, it costs around 100 minutes. Which is about 100 MCQs, imagine. This is how I decided to say no to things, miss out few things. Drop the ball. Remember, you have to stop doing things. You are a limited human being. You cannot do multiple tasks. Decide these are your priorities and stick to them. Learn to say no to it. And most importantly, at the end of the day, tell yourself, these are the things I will do and these are the things I will not do. I imagine when I tell people this, they laugh at me. I avoided having dinner with everybody at home because dinner with everybody at home is huge, 1 hour. Instead, I would have dinner alone in 10 minutes and talk to my parents for 10 to 15 minutes, which was more fruitful, which I realized was the most positive energy I had. So prioritize what you want to do and miss out few things. By missing out few things at this stage, trust me, you will not be backward. You will rather progress. One of the most important thing is, there is a waiting time for everything that you do. Example, you are traveling for some lecture. Travel requires around 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. That waiting time is there. Plan what you want to utilize it for. I remember Zainab Vora, who topped AIMS May 2015, in one of the beautiful videos explained to the world that while I was traveling by metro towards my coaching lectures, I used to revise my notes. In our college, everybody used to have a register which used to be called as must revise, where we will write down all the important tables, all the flow charts, and we'll keep on revising the mnemonics that were there. Today, that waiting time you need to prepare with a folder called as must revise in your mobile phones. When you have this folder with must revise, which will have all the images, all the mnemonics, all the tables, wherever you're traveling, wherever you have time, you can have a look at this. And this can be the most important thing because this will give you around 30 to 40 questions in every exam that you write. That is why it is so valuable that you utilize this waiting time. You somehow have to travel across the city. You have a huge traveling time. Prepare your material. Prepare what you want to read on that. Don't underestimate this waiting time because this waiting time is a wasting time. And if you value it, you are amongst that person who value 24 hours. And if you do that, you will never be at a loss. Lock yourself in. Disappear. Ready to disappear. Ready to disappear socially. Learn to stay aloof. Learn to close your room. Learn to discipline yourself. Learn to look at the stopwatch. And at the end of the day, look at the mirror and say, "Kya maine aaj time waste kiya? Did I waste my time today?" And then look in your eyes for 30 seconds, you will have an answer. You will have an answer, what are you doing? If you are able to look at your eyes for 30 seconds, 30 seconds is a huge time for self-realization and you're conscious to answer yourself. And if you're conscious saying, you did not waste your time today, you are progressing. There is nobody who can stop you on earth. Have inactivity. Be inactive. Don't keep on flying and running every time. In the buffer time that you have, keep some time where you just think where you're going. Each day, evaluate yourself. Talk to yourself. If you do not talk to yourself, it will be very tough. Talk to yourself. Today in the morning I did orthopedics, I did some images. I have done Colles fracture, I have done Smith fracture. I had done Essex Lopresti injury. There is a damage to this particular membrane. And talk to yourself. I have also read some images out of them, and then out of that, what inactivity do? Extract out what is getting you more yield. Think about organization which is making you ahead. Think about what are the positive things that you do that make you happy. Think and relax. Have some time of inactivity. Just relax. And most importantly, never ever compromise on your sleep. You must have a good sleep of 7 to 8 hours in total, because this is a very, very high intensity heated up time, and your brain has to come out of this mode with relaxation to conquer it. Never ever take these things lightly. Sleep is a very, very important thing. Never compromise on your sleep. Sleep well, you will retain well, is a very important thing. It also enhances your memory. It also reduces your anxiety. And both the last thing, the inactivity and the sleep, are very essential. And then remember, this is a beautiful line I've read. Enjoyment is the goal of life. Enjoyment is the goal of life. And the only way to do it is, you should play with your work. If you play with your work, you will enjoy it. At this stage of time, preparation is your work. So play with your work. Finally, you will enjoy. These years, these foundation years of your life, we are struggling to make a beautiful career. They will finally be the years you will always thank for. Thank you very much. All the very best.